everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, An Hour in the Life of a Donor, How Nonprofit Organizations Can Attract More Donors with Fundraising and Engagement for Microsoft Dynamics 365. My name is Petra Miller, Marketing Lead for Government and Nonprofit at AKA, an HSO company, and I'll be moderating the presentation. Before we get started, I just wanted to quickly run through a couple of housekeeping notes. Close any programs running other than GoToWebinar. Use one monitor for the webinar. If you experience any visual or audio issues, please contact GoTo directly at support.logmeinc.com/GoToWebinar/contact us. It's right there on the screen. Lastly, if you have any issues, please don't worry. This webinar is being recorded and we will send you the recording in the next few business days. Next, I wanted to point out the questions pane of the control panel in the upper right corner of your screen. Using this functionality, you may submit questions at any time during the presentation. We will address as many as possible during the Q&A session at the end of the call. If we don't get to your question, we will follow up with you after the presentation. Next, we'll cover the agenda. Today, we're going to tackle introductions and the current state, laying the foundation supporting technology, intro to fundraising engagement, key features of fundraising engagement, seeing through the eyes of a donor, including a demo of fundraising engagement, extending fundraising engagement with a Power Platform, including a demo of Power Virtual Agents, key takeaways and next steps, and then we'll finish up, as I said, with questions and answers. Today's session will be presented by Alejandro Ocasio, Functional Solution Architect at AKA. Now I'd like to hand it off to Alejandro, who will introduce himself and talk about the current state of the nonprofit industry. Take it away.
Hey everybody from warm Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My name is Alejandro Ocasio, Pre-Sales Solution Architect here at AKA. Just a little bit of background about my history. You know, I've had 14 years of overall Dynamics 365 CE experience. I'm a certified Power Apps and Dynamics 365 Solution Architect. 12 years of development / extending the Dynamics platform, even with version 1.2. And then also at the same time, I do have some delivery experience around donations, memberships, and sponsorship management with this platform. So I want to kick it off today, and I really want to start with, what are the challenges that we're seeing with nonprofits? There's a number of challenges facing nonprofits today due to, technology surrounding the organization. Collaboration with constituents can be a major issue due to the number of channels in which somebody would like to engage with a nonprofit. In today's world, not only are emails a key channel of communication, but social media, phone calls, and even SMS are all ways in which constituents would like to engage with an organization. Having a central system to track and organize this communication helps you to figure out what's the best channel to engage with that constituent. Understanding your constituents and the health of the relationship helps to drive that personalization, especially for major gift donors. I'm sure, as most of you know in this meeting, that the pandemic has really reduced the amount of donations for your organization this year. With this 2020 challenge, nonprofits need to understand now more than ever how healthy your key relationships are with key donors. A relationship management system would be able to analyze those constituent relationships for you and focus on the right people at the right time. Managing gifts and lack of insights are kind of paired together in my mind. You need to have a single system to track donations and the impact of these donations have on each program. Not only do you need this report for your staff, but donors would like to see this information and see how their overall contributions are impacting your mission statement. And most nonprofits today have a number of point solutions because they've been solving for the problem at hand. When we've seen this approach, there's a big, huge disconnect on multiple disparate systems across the organization. This leads to data silos and disconnected systems, which affect the ability to get data when and how you need it. And I want to touch back on, COVID-19 and how the impact have we seen with the nonprofit sector. There's no question that the impact of COVID-19 will likely be felt for years in the nonprofit sector. Not only did organizations move 100% of their workers remote overnight, they did so as donation revenue dried up, office closed down, furloughs and layoffs became the norm. This is all happening, of course, as demand for social services is off the charts. So as of early March, 74% of organizations reported canceled fundraisers, 52% lost earned income revenue, and another 40% decline in donations. We know technology isn't the whole answer here, but we also know that incorporating this digital technology into your mission and operations is needed to weather the current storm and assist with this recovery. So I do want to kick it back to Patrick here to do that poll question that we're going to have.
Great, thanks, Alejandro. So before we move forward, I just wanted to level set with the audience here and ask you, of those major challenges that we covered, which one is the biggest one that your organization struggles with? Is it collaboration, understanding constituents, managing gifts, lack of insights, or data silos? Just take a minute there and go with your gut, really just the first one that you think of, choose one, and I'll keep it open here for just a minute before we move on. Okay, great. Again, we'll review that at the end of the session. Thank you, guys. And go ahead, Alejandro.
So I want to start today by really laying that foundation and talking about the overall supporting technology behind fundraising engagement solution. You know, the backbone of the solution is Microsoft Power Platform. And what the Microsoft Power Platform is that low code, no code platform that spans across Microsoft Office 365, Dynamics 365, Azure, and also standalone applications. And really starting from the left and working my way all the way to the right, Power BI is the business analytics service that really delivers insights for analyzing data. You know, this takes data from different systems and builds a report or dashboard in order to help reduce those data silos. To the right of that is Power Apps, and it is a low-code development environment for building custom apps. This really allows you to integrate and interact with existing data from different systems. You know, Power Apps also enables you to create web and mobile applications to run on all devices, including external sites like a portal. Power Automate is my absolute favorite out of the whole Power Platform stack. You know, this allows you to really create that automated workflow between applications and services. So if for any reason you wanted to have an email come in, take that attachment out of that email and store it into OneDrive or even SharePoint, you do have that ability to build that workflow automation, and then you can share that with your team. And then to the right of that is going to be your Power Virtual Agents, which really enables anyone to create those powerful chatbots using that no-code, low-code approach interface. And then what that allows you to do is really build these without a data scientist or a developer. Now, all of this is reading and utilizing that common data service. There's data connectors out there that Microsoft has already pre-built, about 350 of them. And also at the same time, if there isn't a connector for you, you can create a custom one and be able to integrate with with the Power Platform. You know, what also is the foundation for the fundraising and engagement solution is the nonprofit accelerator. You know, fundraising engagement is built on top of this nonprofit accelerator, which standardizes constituent management, program delivery, operations, impact reporting functions, and much more. The solution was created in 2018 by nonprofit organizations, partners, and Microsoft to really lay that foundation down to extend the Power Platform for nonprofits. You know, due to this foundation, fundraising engagement has the ability to be applied to any nonprofit utilizing that nonprofit accelerator today by using that shared definition such as accounts, contacts, households, and much more. So let's talk about donor expectations, right? Let's focus on donor expectations and what's changing. You know, in this day and age, the donor expectations are changing, right? Most donors these days are looking to have more professional and personalized experiences when making donations, especially donations with a higher dollar amount. Not only is this relationship with an organization key to the donor, but the impact of their donations on the organization mission is very important in having that transparency. You know, studies have shown that when a donor can see real transparency, they are likely to give more to an organization, up to 10% more. You know, 60 to 70% of donors would love to see more digital technology around a nonprofit. 80% of donors really want to see the outcome of their donations and the real impact. And then 93% of fundraising and decision makers are looking to make investments towards that impact and investments into technology. So let's talk about intro into fundraising and engagement. You know, this is how we face those challenges today, is utilizing that fundraising and engagement solution provided by Microsoft. So what is it, right? Fundraising engagement for Dynamics 365 sales is a purpose-built donor management and fundraising Microsoft solution. This solution is built on the common data model for nonprofits using the Nonprofit Accelerator. Fundraising engagement runs on Dynamics 365 and is backed by a full Microsoft stack, leveraging the best-in-class cloud infrastructure through Azure, business intelligence and reporting capabilities, and other nonprofit-specific applications, which allows the system to grow with your organization. So as you can see on the right-hand side of this slide is that foundation, that pyramid, right? At the very bottom of that pyramid is Dynamics 365 for sales, which is going to have your sales management. It's going to have activity management and reports that come out of the box. When you install the Nonprofit Accelerator, you get volunteer grant awards, cases, program delivery management with that solution, with that accelerator. And then when you install on top of that fundraising engagement solution, you get gift management, development, fundraising, events, a whole suite of new tools to be utilized at your nonprofit. So, today, some of you might be having this situation of individual platforms or systems which you need to stitch together with integrations in order to have a complete system. Kind of highlighting that here. Now, with fundraising engagement, you'll have one platform which integrates with Office 365 and Azure, which you might be using already today. This native integration helps to eliminate data silos and it does not require you to replace major systems to fully interact with a fundraising engagement solution. From a project standpoint, this means lower implementation costs, shorter overall project timeline, while providing a user interface which your staff has experience with due to the Microsoft Common UI. So there are a number of benefits with this solution. And the number one benefit, I would have to say, it's a complete front to back office system. The fundraising engagement solution has the ability to track your donor development, your fundraising related tasks, gifts and transactions, as well as event management. With the solution, your organization will be able to streamline manual processes and reduce static reporting because of one platform and one centralized system. Due to the Power Platform being a low-code, no-code application, your in-house super users will have the ability to configure and extend this application based on your organization needs. Reporting and data is key to any application, and with fundraising engagement, you'll be able to shift from the reporting on activity base to delivery outcomes for your mission. Now, this solution allows you to track goals and metrics for a program, which can be tracked by concrete outcomes. The last benefit that I'll cover today is the fact that Microsoft is fully supporting the solution. This means that Microsoft will keep this solution up to date with enhancements, new features, as well as the security standards that you know and trust behind Microsoft. So I want to get into the key features of this solution. This really allows, I want to be able to break down all the different modules that come with fundraising and engagement. So to start us off, I'm going to start in the development module. And this is the first component that I would like to talk about with that development module is the Donor 365 view, which I'm highlighting here, that screenshot. This view is a snapshot, which at a glance highlights both actionable and historical information about a donor engagement with your nonprofit. This view is not only on the donor record, but it's at the heart and the foundation records, such as organizations and households. These individual tiles are automatically updated to help showcase the most recent opportunities in their current stage and status, as well as overall lifetime giving and what influences are happening, their membership status too as well. Now, keep in mind that an opportunity with F&E is a gift, a solicitation or event or a grant. Now, with this development module, nonprofits have the ability to track memberships and even address information on a donor record. Now, having the correct address to send direct mail is key to a successful campaign. No longer will you have to track this address manually for a donor who moves to Arizona during the winter. Fundraising engagement solution will manage the start and end date for these seasonal movers. So it allows you to have those campaigns, fundraising campaigns, and send direct mail to the right address, all within inside of this contact record. Next module I want to talk about is the gift module, and really, in order to really maximize donated dollars, the goal is to increase your internal efficiencies and reduce your costs with automated processes. With the gift module from Fundraising Engagement, you'll be able to automate processes, recurring gifts, and donor commitments via a connected Azure tenant. You'll be able to put automated rules in place to trigger activities based on certain circumstances or date and time. This type of automation will help to support a more unified experience with your donors due to the fact that you'll have a long and you'll no longer have to follow up with an email or a phone call to collect recurring gifts each month. And all the heavy lifting will be done utilizing that Microsoft Fundraising Engagement application. And keep in mind too as well that Fundraising Engagement has payment gateways. So you have the ability to process real-time gifts and store credit card information in a safe PCI compliant application. Storing this type of information might seem small set and small-minded, but at the same time, it allows you to streamline that checkout process and really help to personalize and make donation process much more quicker and easier for a donor. With the fundraising module, you have the ability to build on top of your performance around campaign management. With campaign management, nonprofits have that ability to track their marketing efforts and performance. Users of this application will be able to see how effective a campaign outreach is performing for key donors, which allows you to analyze what works best for who and when. Roll-up of information like overall donations, event sponsorships, and even total amount of products sold at an event are tracked at the campaign level, making it a one-stop shop for key performance information. Being able to reach the right constituent to send that information like direct mail is key to successful campaign. And with F&E, you do have that ability to pivot and segment data in order to add or remove constituents to a marketing list. Based on the data set of constituents, you have that ability to find that primary and seasonal address for a constituent. So based on their that date in which they say, I'm living in a certain address, this campaign module will actually send material to them and utilizing that address. And then we also have the event module too. We're talking about campaigns in the fundraising module. Well, with the event module, this works hand in hand with that actual fundraising module. The event module tracks key elements to events and really help to aid nonprofit organizations in creating registrations as well as management of the event itself. This solution takes that hard management of an event and streamlines the whole process. So instead of tracking if a donor has signed a disclosure form, or even if what their preferences are, such as like a t-shirt size or even a dietary restriction, F&E has the event registration wizard, which will actually help walk users through this actual event registration. With any event, you need to be able to set up the room, right? So with F&E really has you covered in this. It allows you to track table layouts, who's sitting with who, and also at the same time, those preferences around that table structure. Due to the fact that everything is tied together, nonprofits have the ability to see how many donations or even sponsorships arise from this event to analyze the performance of the event. With challenges of 2020, nonprofits have the ability to even set up virtual events utilizing Teams. And the last piece I want to talk about here is reports. And I like to think of data as the new bacon, right? Microsoft understands that applications are only as good as the information you get out of it. which is why out of the box with the fundraising engagement solution, you'll have 3 main dashboards. Those 3 main dashboards are development overview, which is going to be information about the major giving. You're going to have events overview, which is going to be information about major events, milestones, and key event metrics. You're going to have that fundraising overview, which I'll showcase too as well. And that's information about campaign activity and how well it's performing overall. So let's say you're a director of development, you want to be able to open the development overview dashboard. As you can see on the right-hand side, you have that ability to see those recent gifts that were received in the last X days. And from that, at the same time, you have the ability to see all of your pledges by account executive so that you can get the status of where are we sitting at with these pledges. Based on the fact that the solution is dynamic, nonprofits have the ability to customize all charts, views, and dashboards in the application to fit the need of the organization. This allows organizations to reduce that need for end of month building of reports and move to more of that real-time data. So let's see it through the eyes of a donor, right? Let's meet Kelly. So everyone say hi to Kelly. Kelly has been a donor with our nonprofit for over 3 years and is supporting that global health objective. She has called us up today to report that she's seen an issue with her membership. And based on her name, I know, and volunteer time with our organization, I know from memory that she is an annual supporting member. But at the same time, I'm not sure about her lifetime gift amount. So we're gonna think of this as a phone call coming in. So let's imagine that we're a donor stewardship, and from that we picked up the phone with Kelly on the other line. And when we open up Kelly's record, let's see what we're presented with. So as you can see here, when I'm in this fundraising engagement solution, I'm on this contact record. Right off the bat, we can see that donor 365 view. The very first thing we can see here is that opportunity, which is in that develop stage. It's been in that stage for 10 days, and the potential amount is $20,000. If I want to get any information from it, I can just click on that tile there, and it will actually open up that opportunity for me. We can see that her last gift was in September, and the next one is coming up. We can also see that our lifetime giving amount is $121,000. The last channel that we reached out to her was phone call. So if there was an email, whatever that last channel of communication is going to be right there for you. She called us up and she was saying, I have a problem with my membership. Now these tiles have the ability to alert you to information. And as you can see there in the membership, it's highlighted in red. It's expired as of August 18th, 2020. So that's something that as I'm on the phone with her, I can get a clear picture of her whole profile right from one screen and be able to say, oh, I can see that your membership was expired in August. At the very top right, we can see that supporting objectives. She's supporting us in our global health initiative on our mission statement, right? Below that is our timeline, so I can see that last phone call. Even though that tile told me the last channel of communication was phone call, I also have the clear timeline here, which can alert me to all activities that she's been with us. Scrolling down, I can see that household details, right? So all of those contributions across the whole household would be rolled up into this view for me. And I can see a clear picture of the members of the household and when was that last communication to the household. I have a quick link here to actually update the address. And when I click on that, we can see that I can select certain addresses. So if she had multiple addresses, I can change that address. And right from here, I'm able to actually manage more than one address. So that way I can streamline really that process of being able to have that primary and seasonal address. Going back to the contact record, I do want to talk about even address changes, right? This gives you that ability to have audit. So as the address are changing, you do have that ability to see all of the address history and the changes that were made to that address right from one screen. Donation information, right here is a clear picture of all the transactions that have happened for Kelly in one screen. I can see the last transaction and dive into that right here at the top just by clicking on this link. Also, at the same time, I can see the last date of that transaction. All of her transactions are summarized here for me, and even what they're actually, and even the programs that they are related to. I can see the status of them. I also have the ability to see commitments and payment schedules all from one screen. I do want to highlight here at the top too as well, you have these action buttons in which you can add a gift, add a registration to an event, add a pledge match. So just by clicking on a button, you have that ability to just add a pledge match. Here at AKA, they do have a matching program, which is fantastic. So if I were talking to Kelly and she was a member of AKA and she wanted to say that, we have a matching program and I'd like to bring my company involved, we have that ability to pledge and put AKA on here, or the company. Going back to that contact record, we can also see add credit card. So right from here, I can actually fill in the credit card and store this in a PCI compliant way. Don't mind my credit card information. And then also at the same time, I can update credit cards. So if they do expire, I can update that date. And at the same time, I can add a bank account. One of the things that I want to dive into is that event registration. So right from Kelly's record, I can go ahead and hit add registration. And what this is going to do is walk me through that whole process. So if I'm on the phone with her and she's looking to actually register for an event, maybe our 6K run that we have coming up, I can go ahead and, as I'm talking to her, make sure that she accepts the liability forms. And from that, I can move along and say, well, which tickets would you like to purchase, right? You can have a corporate or a family special or general. I'm going to go ahead and go with general. And as you can see here, it's walking me through the different kinds of products and donations and purchases for this actual event. And all of this is part of that fundraising engagement solution. Maybe she would like a water bottle. And as you can see, my totals adding up here at the bottom. If she wants to actually sponsor this clean water for a child program that we have going on. And then from that, I can say, is it cash, check, credit card, and run everything right from within inside this application so that I don't have to go out to another gateway and type in all this. It's all done for me right here in one solution and one centralized location. The other thing I want to do is I want to switch gears here, move to that fundraising module, right? And I want to be able to showcase to you the different kinds of campaigns that are going on at this nonprofit. You can see here that I have my estimated versus my actual total revenue. I can dive into this information because all charts within inside of Dynamics is pivotable. So I can pivot it based on other fields. I can open up maybe one of these campaigns, and from that I can see that the timeline of activities that's going on, my proposed start and end dates. But the key here is also the reporting in terms of the appeals, and also at the same time the packages. What are the direct mails that are going out? What are those emails, the events? All of that is summarized for me within inside of this tab, so that I can get a clear picture of exactly what makes up this campaign. Underneath the next tab here is performance. So this is where I can get a summary of all the donations and how many donations did we collect, the registrations, the sponsorships, and then also the products that were sold at our events. All of that can be tallied up for me here so that I can see that overall performance of a campaign without having to navigate around to any other kind of system or report. That key information is there available for you. And if I'm a marketing director or a fundraising director, I can go to this fundraising overview dashboard. Notice how it summarizes all of my transactions for the months. It also has the actuals versus my estimated in terms of what we are collecting at a campaign. The gifts received and how they processed. You could see here my active transactions. If I wanted to see, we could see here that September was our best month, right? And I want to be able to pivot this data. I can actually click on September, and from that, I can pivot it so that I am finding out what is the campaigns that make up maybe these donations, right? What was our best performing campaigns? So just by typing in here and grabbing the campaigns, I can put this into a pie chart. Now notice I haven't left any screens. It's pivoting that chart for me, write that in there. And then from that, maybe I want to pivot it also by the donor, right? Who made up most of these donations for this campaign. So as I'm clicking on that pie chart, I can go ahead and hit donor and put this into a bar chart. And you'll notice here that it's actually breaking down all of that information for September for that campaign by donor. And I have not left this actual dashboard at all. So I'm able to get that information when I need it quickly and in real time. The other module that I like to talk about too as well today is going to be gifts. Gifts is really that heart of automation. So in that gift module, you'll notice here that I'm landing on transactions. These are my active transactions. I can see that by payment type. Maybe I want to find all of the transactions that have been done by Kelly. I can type in Kelly. It's going to search for me. It's also going to pivot or update this chart. And from that, I have the ability to see exactly where her donations are going, right? I can see which actual, what is her impact to our overall mission right from one screen, and be able to report on this information too as well. So if I had a portal or something like that, I can show where her donations are going and how much impact she's actually having with us. As I open up a donation, you'll be able to actually see here, is it a soft credit? There are times where you need to have that soft credit. And how was it processed too as well? Was it a credit card or in kind or a property, right? Being able to see how that gift was actually processed right from one screen. Is it visible or anonymous? And how did we collect that? All of that is available to you to be interacted inside of this wizard here. And then also at the same time, I can process this. I can add a membership too as well. So it allows you to really do everything and anything from within inside of this transaction record. So jumping back into the deck, there are different ways in which you can actually extend fundraising and engagement with the Power Platform. So don't think that, that solution is all you get. You are able to extend the solution even further. One of the things that we've seen a lot is extending the fundraising engagement with Power Platform with portals, right? With Power Apps portals, nonprofits are able to really build external facing websites using that drag and drop studio. Power Apps portals allows for end users to really set up a website for a donor to manage their own profile, as well as be able to manage their own donations. So you can really help to streamline that process. Also, you have the ability to streamline the event registration process too as well, or even volunteering. They have the ability to really sign up from a portal and then see what's coming up. Have a calendar inside of your portal, and from that calendar can show key dates for your organization. This really puts all of that overall administration of the portal out of IT's hands and really helps to streamline the overall process and put that power into your end users. With portals, your donors can be able to really just interact from a more self-help perspective, and that can all be customized with that drag and drop studio. And then the next piece that I'd like to talk about, which we've seen have worked out very well, is that virtual agents and really improving that donor experience. With virtual agents, nonprofit organizations have the ability to create those intelligent chatbots using that low-code, no-code approach. With these chatbots, constituents are able to have those natural conversations with that AI capabilities to help promote that self-service. We've implemented these Power Apps virtual agents to help resolve simple, repetitive tasks like membership status, or what are the upcoming events, or even what did I volunteer my time for, and really being able to get the information in their hands quickly without having to pick up a phone or send an email. With this type of service, nonprofits have that ability to reduce the staff's day-to-day operations, which allows them to focus on more of that strategic task and help support the overall mission. So I want to showcase with you all, how Power Apps virtual agents works with inside of this solution, fundraising and engagement. So I'm going to jump right back into my browser here, and I'm going to go into Power Apps Virtual Agents, and I have this this mimicking of a chatbot. And we could put this onto a portal or even onto your external website. And to really start, I could just say hello to it. And from that, it's actually going to say, hi, what can I help you with? And from that, I want to say, I'd like to get more information about events. And you can see here the bot is thinking, and it's actually saying, you know, what's your email so I can get more information about you. So I can type in here, kelly@gmail.com. And you can see that it's actually found us, right? And it's saying that thanks for being a member with us for 3 years. It also says, hey, your membership has expired. Would you like to renew it? It's actually trying to help the constituent renew their membership because it's able to realize that it's been expired. And I'll say no here. And says, what type of event are you looking for? So it's going back to my original statement to it. And then that was what events, I would like to get more information about events. And I have a couple options here that I can select. I can say, I'm looking to do a race. Well, let me find one. And now it's saying, based on the matches you select, as well as your membership, there is a global 6K for women. Would you like to sign up for this event? So it has the date and the time. And I can say yes here. And from that, it actually signs up Kelly, and it says, lace up your shoes and get ready to go, right? And it also says, would you like to talk about somebody about your membership? So it's actually going back to that issue that it found on Kelly's record and asking if, do you want to resolve this today? And I can say no again. And from that, it will say, did I answer all your questions, right? And then from that, it will give me that survey of how well did the experience happen. You know, if I did say yes there and I wanted to work with somebody to renew my membership, it would have transferred me to an individual in order to get that resolved. So, Patron, you want to talk about the poll results that we've got?
Sure, would love to. All right, folks, as I said at the beginning, I'm going to share the results of that poll that we asked you at the beginning. So what is the major challenge that you see in your organization of those challenges that we went through at the beginning of the call? Is it collaboration, understanding constituents, managing gifts, lack of insight, or data silos? And as you can see there, which is interesting to me, 75% of you saw that lack of insights, or rather said that lack of insights was really the most pressing issue in your organization today. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and move on to the last piece of the presentation. If seeing these results brings up any questions for you, please ask them using the questions part of the control panel, and I'll hand it back off to Alejandro.
Sounds great. So yeah, lack of insights, you know, that is absolutely something that the fundraising engagement solution is able to resolve for you and really be able to bring everything together for you so you can see exactly how you're interacting with a constituent or donor. You know, key takeaways really and next steps, you know, key takeaways that I have seen while working with the solution is it's not your normal plug and play solution. There is some configuration required in order to get the solution working because it works with Azure. So I would say 80% of the way there in terms of you just plug and play, and about 20% of configuration. So just keep that in mind, right? I want to be honest with you here. You know, snapshot into the snapshot view, which is that Donor 365 view, is updated on the schedule. It's a mix of real and also information that takes up to 12 hours to update. So not every tile is going to be real-time data. And then the last piece is it does require that Azure tenant, as I was explaining earlier, and from that to do the payment processing. Now, really what Microsoft projects in terms of a cost for Azure tenant for something along those lines for a decent size nonprofit is around $300 per month. So just being completely open and honest with you on that. You know, next steps here, you know, Microsoft is offering 5 free fundraising engagement licenses for you to utilize. And from that, you can contact us so that we can do a further discovery on how the solution can really work for you and utilize these free 5 licenses, as well as be able to do a little bit of discovery to see if the solution is going to be the right fit for your organization. that's something that definitely you can reach out to Petra on. Her information is there. So then the last piece is questions and answers. I know we have about 15 minutes left. So Petra, do we have any questions or anything along those lines?
We do, actually. We have a few questions that have come in, if you're ready to take them.
I am.
Okay. The first one for you is, what is the cost of the virtual agents?
So cost of virtual agents is based on a per app, per user basis. We can send you some of that information. It also depends on your agreement with Microsoft. So I don't want to give you the wrong information there, but send us your contact information, and that way we can get you that true cost.
Awesome, great. So that person who asked that, we'll follow up with you after the call. All right, the next question. Can fundraising and engagement integrate with my current financial system?
It absolutely can, and it really just depends on that financial system. You know, we'd have to do some discovery with you in order to get that information. And really, it's just based off of those connectors. So if you're using Oracle today, or you know, finance and operations, those are systems that are available that we can integrate with using those connectors that are available to us for that Power Platform.
Thank you. Again, I'll remind you guys, you can ask your questions using the questions piece of the control panel on the right-hand side here. All right, you have another couple. How do I migrate and import data into fundraising and engagement?
You know, because this is the Power Platform, you do have that ability to extend it utilizing Power Automate, right? And using Power Automate to import that data into your environment and push data out to another environment or system. Also, at the same time, there are donation import tool that's available within inside of this solution that really will allow you to take some of that donation information that you have and import that information into this centralized system. Anything from an XML file to a CSV file, we have that ability to utilize that native data import tool.
Thank you, Alejandro. All right, I'm just seeing one more in here. Again, you guys, you can ask the questions using the questions functionality and the control panel. Last one here, is it possible to control the level of access for certain users?
Absolutely. So there are security roles which are tied to the Power Platform. And with security roles, you can lock it down all the way to the table level. So if I don't want to have someone, a user, have access to transactions or even to, let's say, campaigns, I can actually reduce the amount of access that they have inside the Power Platform at a user level or even at a team level.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Alejandro. All right, I'll leave it open for just another few seconds here. Again, you can ask your question using the questions functionality on the, or rather in the control panel. Alejandro, can you advance to the next slide, please?
Sure can.
Yep, if any additional questions come up for you, or if you would, I mean, if you are interested in fundraising and engagement, you can reach out to me, Petra Miller, at peimiller@hso.com, or you can call me directly and I'll point you in the right direction. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Alejandro, for doing an amazing job as usual.
Thank you.